The battlefield was silent, but heavy smoke and burning. Metals still filled the air, the ground was broken by craters, and the smell of ash drifted like a shadow across the ruined land among the bodies of fallen alien soldiers. One figure still stood. Breathing hard, a human soldier, armor-cracked blade, glowing faint blue in his hand. He looked around and saw nothing moving, till one sound broke through the silence. The scrape of metal against stone. The human turned blade ready, and there he saw something strange, an alien warrior, much larger than the rest, body covered in broken armor, glowing red veins across his skin, his forearms. Trembling, yet his eyes locked on the human. Instead of fighting, he fell to his knees, one knee pressing against the blood-soaked earth, and in a voice rough but desperate he cried, "Spare me, human. I will serve you forever." The human did not move. The blade remained raised, but his heart beat harder than before this warrior had led. The charge earlier he had killed dozens of men and women. Now here he was begging for mercy. The human felt the weight of choice. Should he strike and end it, or should he listen? His orders had been clear: no survivors, but something in the alien voice made him hesitate. The alien lowered his head as if ashamed, his broken armor sparking with faint light. He spoke again, each word heavy like stone. "I fought because I was bound. I fought because my people were chained. But I see you, human. You are not like them. You fight with fire inside, not with chains around your neck." The human narrowed his eyes. Could this be true? Could the enemy, who had destroyed cities, really be forced into battle? The human thought of his commanders, thought of the faces of his friends lost on this very ground. Every reason told him to finish it, but the unknown pulled him deeper. The alien lifted one of his cracked gauntlets, dropping a weapon to the ground as if to prove his surrender. His voice lowered, almost a whisper. "You think you have one, but you do not see what is coming. Your world, your Earth, it is already seen, already marked." The human froze at those words. His grip on the blade tightened. "What do you mean?" he asked. The alien's chest rose and fell with deep pain as he answered, "We were only the first wave. Not by choice the Empire sent us. They own us, they break us, and they use us like tools. They know of you now, they know of your world, and they will come for it soon." He raised his head slightly, his glowing eyes meeting the humans with a mix of fear and something else, loyalty or maybe desperation. The human's pulse quickened. If the alien spoke true, then this battle was only the beginning. The smoke thickened. The silence returned yet around them, the ruined field seemed alive with hidden danger. The human lowered his blade. Just an inch, suspicion still burning inside him, but the alien leaned forward, bowing his head completely. "I cannot undo what I have done. I cannot wash away the blood on my hands. But I can serve you. I can fight for you against them only. Let me live and you will see that." Speak truth. Thunder rolled above, dark clouds cracking with faint red lightning. The human looked at the broken giant before him. This was madness. No one would believe him if he returned with an enemy alive. Yet his gut whispered that the alien's words were not lies. He stepped closer, blade still ready. The alien raised his head one last time, whispering again, "Spare me, human. I will serve you forever." And in that moment, the human realized the war he thought had ended was only opening its first door. The human soldier did not sleep that night, for the words of the alien echoed again and again in his head. He had brought the warrior back to camp. Against the will of his commanders, who stared with anger and disbelief, the alien was bound and heavy. Chains more than any prisoner had ever worn, his armor stripped away. Yet even then many feared him, for his body was larger than 3 men, and his eyes glowed faint under the light of the fire. Some shouted to kill him, others demanded an execution, but the human spoke with calm strength. Said the alien had surrendered. He said there was value in hearing his truth. The commanders argued, but finally they allowed the alien to live for the night, though death waited at dawn. If no proof of loyalty was shown, the human went to him. When the camp grew quiet, the alien sat, chained, his arms bound, but his head lifted when the soldier came near. "You risk your place among them for me," he said. Why, the human gripped his blade, though. He did not raise it because you spoke of something greater, something that threatens not just us, but all. The alien's eyes narrowed with sadness. "Yes," he said, "the Empire of Chains, they are not my people, they are not my blood, they are the ones who crushed my world. They took our children, they took our warriors, and they bent us to their will. Those who resisted died, those who obeyed were sent to fight, and die for them, and so we became their army, unwilling slaves in broken armor. The human felt the weight of his words heavy and sharp. He asked, "How do I know you do not lie? How do I know this is not a trick?" The alien bowed his head, his voice rough, but steady, because lies are useless now. If I wished to kill you, I would not kneel before you. I would not chain myself and beg for life. He paused, then whispered, "You want proof? Then hear this tomorrow. A signal will be sent across the stars. It will not be for you. It will not be for your commanders. It will be for them, the empire, your name, your world. It will be carried to their ears." The human froze, his blood cold. "How do you know this?" "Because I once carried such signals," the alien replied. "My rank was high. I was a commander among slaves. They trusted me to deliver death, and so I know their patterns. I know their codes, and tomorrow they will send your name. They will send Earth marked as prey." The human's hand trembled. He looked at the massive figure, chained and broken, yet speaking with such truth. If this was a lie, it was a perfect one, but something deep inside told him it was real. The next morning the camp stirred, and the commanders gathered. The alien was brought before them. Chains rattling, the human stood beside him, silent. The commander of the camp, a tall woman with steel in her eyes, looked at the alien and said, "Your time is done. It will be executed as ordered." But the alien raised his voice loud and heavy. "Listen." Now he said, "Today at the second sunrise, the Empire will send a signal. Search the air, search the codes, and you will see if I lie." The commander narrowed her eyes, but at a nod from her, the technicians checked the skies. They worked for hours then. Suddenly, the alarms rose. A signal was found hidden, coded but clear. It carried one word: Earth. The camp fell silent. Every face turned pale. The commander looked at the alien, her jaw hard, but her eyes no longer cold. She turned to the human, who had brought him in, and said, "You may have been right, soldier, but if you are wrong, this mistake will cost us all." The human did not blink. He looked at the alien warrior and saw no trick, only the shadow of something vast. The alien whispered low, "Only you can decide now, human. You can kill me and face the Empire blind, or you can let me serve you and see the war before it comes." The camp no longer slept. The discovery of the signal had shaken every soldier to the core. Men and women whispered around the fires, speaking the word Earth with fear, as if saying it too loudly might summon the enemy. The commanders gathered in. The command tent map spread across the table, voices raised in anger and doubt. Some wanted to fortify Earth, others wanted silence and secrecy, but one truth weighed heavier than all. Their words, the Empire of Chains, now knew of humanity, and nothing could erase that. The human soldier stood outside the tent, watching the aliens still bound, though the chains seemed less like prison now, and more like protection for even. Chained, his presence unnerved the camp, yet no one dared move against him. After what had been proven, the soldier approached slowly, his blade at his side, and the alien lifted his head. His glowing eyes dim under the pale light. "You see now," he rumbled. "I did not lie. They know of your world, and they will come." The human clenched his fist. "Why us? Why Earth? We are nothing to them." The alien's voice dropped low, so only the soldier could hear. "It is not what you are. It is what you will be. The Empire fears new fire in the dark. They fear strength that does not bend, they destroy it before it grows." His gaze sharpened. "And they fear you, human." The soldier felt a chill run down his spine. His people had only just taken their first steps into the wider galaxy, yet already they were marked for death inside. The tent voices grew louder until the commander stepped out, her eyes hard as stone. She looked at the soldier, then at the alien. She said, "He claims to know more. He claims to know their ways. If he speaks truth, perhaps he can be used, but trust is not easily given." The alien lowered his head and spoke again. "Not trust. Then use me as you will. Bind me, chain me, but let me guide you, for I have walked in their shadow, and I know where they will strike." The commander studied him for a long moment, then turned to the soldier. "Your life is tied to his now. If he betrays us, it will be on your head. Do you understand?" The soldier nodded without hesitation. The alien's chains were not removed, but he was brought into the war council. His deep voice filled the tent. As he spoke of the Empire, he told them of their fleet's black ships that blotted out suns. He told them of their weapon cities, turned to glass in moments, but worst of all, he told them of their chains, collars of control that bent entire species into servants no different than him. He spoke of how his people, once proud warriors, had been broken and scattered into loyalty, was replaced by fear and obedience. The commanders listened, faces grim as stone. Some doubted him, others saw the weight. In his words, but one thing was certain: this enemy was greater than anything humanity had faced, and they were not ready. The alien turned to the soldier and said, "They will test you first. They will send scouts, assassins, spies they will not unleash. They're full fire until they know your strength, and when that time comes, you must not hide. You must strike, for if you show weakness, they will not only burn Earth, they will enslave." What remained silence filled the tent. The commander finally spoke. "We cannot outrun them, and we cannot outnumber them, but perhaps with his knowledge, we can outthink them." She looked at the soldier and said, "Prepare for departure. You and your warrior will travel ahead. Find where they build their fleets. Find where their chains are forged." The soldier felt the weight of the order, but did not flinch. He looked at the alien, who nodded once, heavy and solemn outside the tent as the camp prepared for the journey. The alien leaned close and whispered, "You step now into the dark, human, but know this: the Empire does not forgive, and it never forgets." The soldier's grip tightened on his blade as he stared into the night sky. The stars above no longer seemed distant. They felt like watching eyes, and in that silence, he knew the war was no longer at Earth's doorstep. It was already here. The journey into the dark began with silence. No songs, no laughter, only the hum of engines and the steady rhythm of soldiers checking their weapons. The human soldier sat at the edge of the transport, staring out through the narrow viewport as stars slipped past like sparks from a dying fire. Across from him, the alien warrior sat chained, though not as tightly as before, his great frame filling the shadows of the ship. His eyes glowed faint, but his voice was quiet, until he finally spoke. "You are leaving the safety of numbers," he said. "Here in the dark, you will see who I truly am." The human's grip tightened on his weapon. "If you betray me, I will end you." The alien bowed his head, then rumbled, "If I betray you, I will not need to live long enough for you to try." Their journey took them into abandoned sectors far from patrol routes, guided by the alien's memory of hidden paths once used by the Empire outposts. Broken and forgotten, drifted through the void like ghosts. Each one carried echoes of past battles and the husks of ships long dead. The alien explained, "These were places where the Empire tested loyalty. Those who failed never returned." The soldier listened, each word drawing him deeper into a web of fear and suspicion, yet he kept moving, following the alien's voice. When they reached the shadow of a dead moon, the alien spoke again. "Beneath this rock, there is a station, still alive, still hidden. It is where they build chains. It is where they turn free warriors into slaves." The human felt his heart pound if what he said was true. This place could be the key to understanding the Empire. He ordered the small squad to prepare for descent. They landed in silence, no lights, no signals, only the whisper of boots against dust. The air was thin and sharp, the ground split with cracks like open wounds. Then they saw it, buried deep into the rock, a black structure pulsing faint red, as if the stone itself bled. The alien's voice lowered, "This is where they broke my people." The soldier raised his weapon and signaled forward. The squad moved inside. What they saw chilled their blood. The walls were lined with empty suits of armor, not destroyed, not abandoned, but placed like trophies. Each one had collars attached, glowing faint blue with cruel light, and the air smelled of old smoke and something fouler, something that carried sorrow. The alien walked slower, here his eyes distant, his voice cracking. "This was the hall where my oath was shattered, where my brothers knelt and chains were fastened." He reached out a massive hand, brushing the wall as if touching a grave. The squad spread through the halls, searching for signs of life, and they found it not life but machines, tall constructs with limbs like blades, their eyes burning red as they stirred from the shadows. Alarm screamed. The Empire knew they were here. Battle erupted. The soldier's blade burned bright, cutting through metal, while the alien broke machines with his chained fists, roaring like a storm each strike carried. Fury, but also pain, as if he fought ghosts of his past. The squad fought hard, but the machines kept coming wave after wave until the alien threw himself between them and the human, his body taking the blows, his voice a thunder. I swore to serve you, and I will not break. The soldier struck down the last machine, and silence fell, smoke filled. The hall's sparks falling from broken wires. The squad stood shaken but alive. The alien staggered, his great chest heaving blood dark. Against his scales the human caught him, steadying the giant, who whispered, "Now you see, human, this is what awaits your kind. If they win, chains upon your neck, fire upon your world." The soldier stared at the broken station. The truth was undeniable. The Empire was real, their cruelty endless, and now they would come with greater force than ever before. He gripped his weapon harder and spoke, "We will not be chained, not while I still draw breath." The alien looked at him, eyes glowing faint with something close to respect. Then he said, "Then you must be ready for what comes next. For this was only a shadow. The true heart of the Empire beats far beyond these stars." The station lay in ruins, smoke curling from shattered machines and sparks raining down like dying stars. But the human soldier knew the silence would not last. The Empire always watched, always listened. Their presence here was already a message. And soon the hunters would come. The squad moved quickly, gathering what data they could from the broken systems, while the alien leaned heavily against the wall, his massive frame trembling with wounds he had taken to shield them. His scales cracked, his blood dark against the floor, yet his eyes still burned with fire. The human turned to him. "You saved us, but the others, they will not believe you. They will say this was your trap." The alien's voice rumbled low. "Then let them believe what they wish. I swore to serve you, not them. If my blood must prove my oath, then let it spill. But hear me, human. Your people have more than enemies among the stars. You have traitors within." The human stiffened at the word traitors, his mind racing. The alien nodded slowly. "Not all of your kind wish for freedom. Some dream of power. They would sell your earth to the Empire if it kept them alive and fed. And the Empire knows how to whisper into such ears." The human's gut twisted with anger, but before he could answer, the squad commander approached, their face hard as steel. "We must leave now. Reinforcements will come, the data shows." They prepared to board the ship. A shadow stirred. One of their own soldiers stepped forward, weapon raised at the alien's stand back. He shouted, "This beast has poisoned your mind. He leads you into traps. He feeds you lies." The human raised his hand to calm him, but the soldier's eyes blazed with something unnatural, almost hollow. The alien growled low, that is no voice of his own. "The Empire has reached him. Chains do not always bind the body. Sometimes they twist the mind." The squad tensed, weapons rising, but the human moved. First, his blade cutting the traitor's weapon aside before the man could fire. The soldier fought with a strength not his own, his eyes wild, his voice screaming words not human. "Surrender to chains. Surrender to chains. Surrender to power." The human struck hard, disarming him, but before they could take him alive, the man bit down on something hidden. A spark, a burst of flame, and his body fell. Lifeless silence crushed the squad. The human stared at the fallen man, rage boiling inside. The alien lowered his head. "Now, you see, they are already among you. Trust will become harder than battle itself." The squad boarded their transport. Heavy with doubt, the human sat across from the alien, staring into the dark, wondering how far the Empire's reach already stretched. When they returned to command, the halls were colder whispers chasing their steps. Many still wanted the alien dead, calling him curse and enemy, but the commander silenced them with a single word: proof. The data from the station revealed fleets moving, fleets too large to ignore, and worse, a weapon hidden deep in their territory. Something vast enough to burn a world. The Council of Commanders argued for hours. Some demanded retreat, others demanded open war, but through it all, the alien stood silent, his chains clinking softly, until finally he spoke. "Cannot hide. Earth will burn before your fleet even takes flight. The only path is to strike first, to break their weapon before it breathes fire." The commanders turned to him with suspicion and scorn, yet the human soldier stood at his side, voice steady. He has not failed us once, and if he wished our death, we would not stand here. Breathing, the council fell silent, until the commander of the camp fixed her eyes on the human. Your faith in him grows dangerous, but so does your warning, she said. If he betrays us, this burden will fall on your shoulders. Are you ready for that? The human did not hesitate. I am ready. The alien lowered his head, his deep voice echoing then, let me lead you into their shadow one last time, for the price of loyalty is blood and mine is already given. The fleet moved in silence through the dark, their ships hidden by shadows, their hearts heavy with fear and resolve. The human soldiers stood at the bridge of the lead vessel, staring into the endless black ahead. Every star felt like an eye. Watching every silence felt like breath. Before the storm beside him, the alien warrior loomed, his chains removed. At last, his oath already carved into his flesh by wounds and scars, he had no need for bonds anymore, for his loyalty was clear yet. Many still doubted him. Whispers traveled the halls, calling him traitor, calling him trap, but the human silenced them. With one truth, he has saved us again and again, and today he will lead us to strike before the Empire's weapon can burn our world. The alien bowed his head heavy with the weight of his past, then rumbled, this will not be easy. Their heart is strong. Their defense is endless, but if we do not strike here, there will be no earth left to defend. The ships pierced deeper into enemy space, until at last the shadow appeared, a massive construct, larger than mountains, wrapped in black metal, glowing faint. With red veins like a living wound, it pulsed with power, a weapon built to swallow worlds. The squad stared in silence, awe and dread filling their eyes. The alien spoke low. This is the forge of fire. Once it wakes, nothing will survive. The human clenched his fists, then gave the order, we strike now before it breathes. The fleet surged forward, guns blazing, missiles streaking through the void, but the Empire was ready. Black ships poured out of the forge like a storm, each one sharp and merciless. The battle shook the stars, fire against firelight against darkness. The human fought at the front, his blade cutting through borders that breached their ship. The alien roared beside him, tearing through enemies, his body battered but unyielding. Together they carved a path toward the heart of the weapon. Their small strike ship, plunging into the glowing core, alarms screamed around them as they entered halls of burning red walls, alive with energy. Soldiers of the Empire poured forth, collars around their necks, chains etched into their armor, slaves bound to fight until death. The alien's eyes burned with fury. These were his brothers, his kin, twisted into shadows of what they once were. He fought them with sorrow in his heart. Every strike a wound deeper than his own. The human pressed on, leading them through endless fire until they reached the core. A chamber, vast and alive, with pulsing light at its heart, a reactor of pure energy ready to unleash death upon Earth. The alien staggered, his chest bleeding from countless wounds, yet he stood firm. This is where it ends. Human, destroy his heart, and your world lives. But before the human could strike, a figure emerged, cloaked in shadow, eyes burning gold, a commander of the Empire, tall and cruel. His voice thundered, you think you can defy the chains? You think your Earth matters? It will burn like all the rest. The battle that followed was fury. The human's blade clashing against the commander's staff, sparks filling the air. The alien threw himself into the fight, his fists shattering stone, his roar shaking, blow like thunder, until at last the commander turned his weapon toward the human. A strike meant to kill in one breath, but the alien moved faster. He stepped into the path, his body taking the blow, his chest pierced, his voice breaking with pain, yet still strong. I swore to serve you forever, human, and I do not break. His massive form collapsed, but his hand still clutched the commander, holding him long enough for the human to drive his blade deep, ending the shadow, ending the chain. The chamber shook, the reactor ready to erupt. The human triggered the charges planted. Around its heart, light filled the halls, fire tearing through metal as he dragged the alien's body toward. The ship alarms howled. The forge split apart, collapsing into fire. The fleet escaped as the weapon burned behind them, a sun dying in silence. Aboard the ship, the human knelt beside the alien, his breath shallow, his eyes dim, yet a faint smile curved his lips. You are free now, the human whispered. The alien's voice cracked, but steady, no human eye, am bound, bound to my oath to you, and in that bond I found freedom. His eyes closed, his body still, the human bowed his head. Grief heavy, yet pride burning in his heart. The empire retreated, its weapon destroyed, and though the war was far from over, Earth had survived because one alien warrior once begged for mercy and chose loyalty over chains.